Welcome back to NJ.com. Matt Stameyer here once again with Mike Kinney, our high school football expert from the Star Ledger. We got another installment of the Star Ledger Scramble. Let's get to it. First, starting off, Sussex Tech, quite the accomplishment.
Yeah,
they won their first game on the field in 4 years this past weekend. They beat Dwight Englewood 38-0. This is a big win for a team that hasn't won in 4 years.
That's right. That's huge, huge. You know, and they had 2 forfeit victories in the last couple of years, but you know we know how that goes. That's just something that, you know, in the records you go back and you look like, oh well, you know, they won a game that year. Well, they did. They were forfeit wins. So yeah, how good do these kids feel? You know, they got a couple seniors who've been battling out for over the last couple of years with them. Mark Bowman, Kyle Conklin, Shaq Lassiter, Ray Oliver. These seniors, man, since they were freshmen. They've been in the building. This team hasn't been able to win on the field. How good do they feel right now? That's great. You know, it's good for them, and hopefully they get the confidence now that they have some good practices, and maybe they can, you know, get another one before the season's over. That'd be outstanding. Maybe this, you know, moving in the right direction.
It sounds like a 38-0. I mean, that's a pretty convincing win. It sounds like they can score, move the ball.
Hard to get a young program going, you know. But these seniors stuck with it. They, you know, they stayed strong. They're, you know, they're getting the younger kids involved and keeping their confidence up. Good for them. Hats off, boys.
Kudos to them. And then also another good story is Cedar Creek. This team down in Egg Harbor Township, they won for the first time as a varsity program. This is a new program relatively. 35-6 victory over Pleasantville. The other cool fact is that they actually have a female kicker who was 5 for 5 on extra points. That's Emily Kruger. Here we go, another cool story.
Great story, you know, I mean, last year they had to, they talking about forfeits, they had to forfeit some games last year because they had some injuries, they had, you know, a lack of personnel. They couldn't complete the varsity season, so they had to just play JV games. So here they come into the varsity season, who knows what they have. They didn't play varsity last year, so, you know, what are they basing the evaluation on? JV seasons, that's very difficult. Then they come and, you know, I mean, you know, really take it to Pleasantville. So they played pretty well their first 2 games to Cedar Creek. This is a team that's, you know, could be on the rise. I mean, something bubbling out of Egg Harbor Township. Good for them.
Very well.
And Emily, you know, was a very good soccer player, I understand. And seems like, I mean, this is not some novelty. She's the best kicker on the team. Good for her,
sounds like
man.
it. 5 for 5. Way to go.
Love it down there.
Also, we have someone approaching a cool milestone. Kye Morgan, the running back from Franklin in Somerset County. He's 39 yards shy of breaking the school record.
That's right.
A lot of yards that he's compiled in his 4-year total.
That's right. Marcus Hamilton back in '87 had the old record, and Kye now, who's just had a fabulous career. You're talking about a record not of 2,500 yards, 3,000 yards. The record is over 3,300 yards. So this kid is going to get 4,000 yards in his career. That's outstanding. I don't care where you're playing. Franklin's got a great football tradition. Good for Kye.
And I mean, 1987, that's an old record. I mean, that's pretty cool that he's breaking one.
Yeah, it doesn't sound old to me, you know, in my age, but it is old, you're right.
And then moving along, we got a good matchup coming up this weekend. Nutley, Livingston. These are both 3-0 teams.
That's right.
Located in Essex County. They haven't played in years, though.
Years and years,
and now they're going to play in a big game that has a lot of meaning to it, right?
That's right. This is the shift in the Super Essex Conference. Livingston was up in the American Division. They moved down to the Liberty Division, where Nutley had been, and Nutley very competitive every single year. They were 8-4 last year, and Livingston was 500 team last year. Now, they very, very good teams. Andrew Egner is a very good quarterback for Livingston. He gets that thing going, short passing game. They run the ball pretty well. They do great stuff out of their double wing sets. And Nutley, good old classic wing T stuff, man. They got they got Lou Magliora and they got Matt Del Moro, 2 excellent running backs who were surprises last year. They get the job done. They're very good running backs. They control the clock. 2 well-coached football teams. It's going to be a good, fun game on Saturday night up in Livingston.
Yeah, definitely. You always like that. You know, rivalries renewed with the realignment that took place a couple years ago.
This conference has made for some very exciting rivalries that was lost for a long time in Essex County, and it's back now. There's a lot of excitement in the county.
A lot of excitement at Perth Amboy. They're 3-0 for the first time since 1987. This is a good story there, but they still got some work to do. They're in a tough section. They might need to go undefeated to make the playoffs. They
may have to. You know, their predominant Group 3 schedule that they play, that's very difficult because they're in North Jersey Section 2 Group 4. Folks, if you don't know North Jersey Section 2 Group 4, this is one of the toughest in the state. You know, this is what Piscataway won last year. East Orange, which we talked about, is rolling in that division. You're always going to have 8, 9, 10 teams. Elizabeth's in there. Linden's in there. This is heavyweights. You're playing Group 3 schools, no matter how well you do. If you lose a game, you're just not going to get the power points that other teams are going to get by playing these Group 4 schedules constantly. pretty, they almost have to go undefeated. Our Middlesex County guy, John Haley's right on top of it. He says, I don't know, they might have to go undefeated.
Right.
They haven't done this in 65. And a guy by the name of Brian Taylor and his brother were on that team back then. Brian Taylor played in the NBA, and his brother Bruce played in the NFL.
Wow.
This is how far back this goes. So good luck, Perth Amboy, but it's going to be tough. Because as they win each game, the pressure gets high.
Definitely.
And they're not used to doing this, so it's going to be very challenging.
Something to keep your eye on for the rest of the year,
Absolutely.
definitely. And make sure you're checking in at NJ.com, checking out our high school football blog, and also picking up the Star Ledger.
Please.
We'll see you next time.